Merry Christmas, everyone!
Yay!
It is the season of giving. Hannah, you know why we're here. I warned you. Fun fact about your, I don't know, maybe top 15 favorite EA podcasters. Neither of us have taken the Give What We Can pledge. Classic EA thing to do. Hannah says this is an oops. This is the first time hearing about it. I also think it's an oops on my end. We have a guest who's going to talk us into it today, perhaps. But maybe we can preface this by outlining some of our own reasons for why we are in this potentially embarrassing situation. Hannah?
Oh, good. I get to go first. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same reason that oh, God. It's even worse than this. It's actually just like, oh, God, this is really embarrassing. I haven't just not taken the Giving What We Can pledge. I don't donate money.
Like ever?
Like barely ever. Because I vaguely am like, eventually I'll figure out what the right thing to do with this money is. So in the meantime, I save it. So I have made sure that 10% of my total income is like literally liquid in my bank account at all times in my adult life. Although sometimes I check it and I'm like, shit, am I doing it? But I like try to make sure I am doing that. And then I'm like, one day I will sit down and figure it out and then give like 15 years of 10% of my income to something.
Cool. So I feel that a lot, actually.
That's where I'm at.
Very uncertain about what the right thing is. You're in the nice position.
It's less embarrassing if I didn't take the pledge, but I did fucking donate 10% every year, but I don't. I just like save it.
No, this is okay. Maybe the most embarrassing part of that was a detail that you misarticulated. Your 10% of your income over the last 15 years should not be sitting in your bank account ready to go at a moment's notice. It should be in some kind of brokerage account earning.
Brokerage, I have, yes. Mostly yes. My money is almost all in a brokerage account. Although it turns out you have to click 2 buttons. God, how ditzy am I going to sound right now? I have once put tens of thousands of dollars in my brokerage account, assumed it was being invested in the money markets that my brokerage account does. And it turns out I had to click a second fucking button. I thought it was automatic. It was not. And it had just been sitting there for months. So that was also, embarrassing.
They do that, and
but it's not. Sorry, it's not liquid. It's not that liquid. It's pretty liquid, but it's not.
It is quite liquid. It's 3 days away or something like that.
Yeah, it's not. This is good. You should fix my finances on one of these episodes. That would be great.
Oh, Hannah, once we get into my reasons, you're going to discover a lot about that and other things. And then you also have the nice feature of your life that your partner is giving for 2. Or 3 or 4.
And the fact that he gives an outrageous amount of money away.
Yeah.
God, I don't know if this is like a flex or mostly I think it is just deeply embarrassing. But I learned yesterday that I haven't paid rent in 8 months.
I feel like your landlord would.
No, sorry. We've paid rent. I haven't paid rent.
I see.
Splitwise. He should splitwise me, and he just hasn't. But I guess I also haven't noted anyway. So I'm not that good with money, I think is what we're learning here.
Yeah, sometimes it takes 3 to make an agency or more. Who knows? Well, before our guest crashes in very soon, as I'm sure he will, my reasons, very similar. Feel quite uncertain about what to do. I have given away a lot of money in the past, but I've been cooling it for the last probably 3 years, with the exception of like random political donation opportunities that come up and feel very.
God, the people around here are so on your ass about that. Jesus.
Certain friends of ours will not let those opportunities go and pass them by.
Enough agency for 2.
Very
honestly,
true.
Mostly props to them. I'm really glad they exist. I'm glad they
for sure. Also that lingering uncertainty about what the right thing to do is, lots of savings. And related to
the thing we maybe have most in common that we found in this entire time doing this podcast.
Yeah, it may be the most Jewish part of me.
Yes! Anxiety and money?
Money just terrifies
me. The existence of money.
It feels so high stakes. I need to get it right. Investing is scary. Donating is scary. Making lifetime commitments about big portions of the thing, also just very scary. And even though I'm
married, right?
as frequent listeners to the show may be aware, it's possible that Matt has some commitment issues as well. But like all the issues, we'll work on them one by one, and we'll get there. Yeah.
Oh my God! We basically recreated Where Shall We Begin?
Another piece of media that perhaps I should watch.
It's a therapy podcast where full episodes of people's therapy appointments are put on live.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, money is terrifying. Lifetime commitments about money is terrifying. And even though when I think on the object level, how good the pledge is and how much I want to be a part of this force in the world and helping all this stuff and declaring it, I always have this reflexive fear that comes about money. And I just think, much as I endorse the arguments, this isn't a good headspace in which to make such a decision. But I'm always in the headspace.
And what are you afraid of? You're afraid of running out of money?
Just fucking up in a big way and regretting it. I'm probably afraid of running out of money, but it's just wow, I did all this stuff for years and years because I had this commitment. And if I'd thought about it a little more, I would have strategized much differently. And I had all this opportunity. I just passed up.
Yeah.
Seems really bad.
Yeah. And it's precisely, I think, hard in the way that doing any kind of morally demanding thing is hard outside of a job. Morally demanding jobs are also hard, but you have managers for that. There's nobody making me donate at the end of the year. There's no one being what if you set aside 3 days to really think about it? No one's doing that.
Right on. Well, you know who's going to make us do something about it today?
Hell yeah.
Is Mr. Matthew Edelstein. Hello, Matthew.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Welcome to the pod.
I'm doing well.
How do you feel being around such morally depraved people who haven't taken the pledge? Does it feel icky?
Yeah, it's sort of, I need to take a shower afterwards.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's these sort of selfish, 80,000 hours people. It's basically like when you go to a hedge fund and you find out that everyone's spending their money on these extravagant filet mignon and lobster every day. And the lobster is the worst part. That's sort of the feeling of interacting with the 80,000 hours people. Yeah. You wish that
neither kosher. It's a small animal. It's so much money going against it.
Right. It's there's this website. I forget what it's called, but it's about how to take a high impact career. You wish these people would consult the website and then learn how they could do a lot of good with their career. Because it's you have lots of hours in your career, 64,000 or something. And so,
as the Europeans count it, so I hear. Chana has a lot of new European colleagues that just sprung to mind.
We love you guys in your naps. We really do.
Fantastic. Anyway, our guest today is Matthew Edelstein. We're very happy to have him. You may also know him as Bentham's Bulldog, the most prolific EA/utilitarian philosophy blogger that we know of. He's got great hot takes for everyone, such as continental philosophy, bad; Trump, bad; lying, bad; honey, bad; God, good; shrimp, good; and of course, the self-sampling assumption, really, really bad.
Yeah, that's the worst of them.
Matthew, welcome. It's so fitting that you are our guest this week because, as you know, the topic is, should Chana and I take the Giving What We Can pledge? And I'll add that, in fact, the whole reason that I thought to do an episode on this, even though I didn't immediately think that you should be the guest, was because I read your blog on taking the pledge and how you've recently done it and people should do it. And I was like, it's that time of year, that time of life.
Done it. You're a heretic like us. You're a recent convert. This is Zeal of the convert. This is bullshit. Where's Julia Wise?
It's true. Now, before I took the pledge, I was giving, I feel like I should have gotten credit for it because I was giving more than 10% at that time.
So that's real, I love you and I take care of you. So why do we have to call it anything? We don't have to call it marriage, right? Kind of energy. I should get credit. The whole point is the commitment.
Okay, in Matthew's defense, I'll speak in your defense very quickly, Matthew.
Sorry, I'm the worst person on this podcast. No one needs to defend themselves from me.
Okay, but yeah, Matthew is much younger than both of us, right? So he's we've had a lot of time, you and I, Chana, to think about this. I've used some of that time to donate substantial amounts. You haven't.
Nope.
We both have our hangups, which we told the listeners about earlier, Matthew. But maybe first, what
I
we
have
should
a
do
full
is
list of hangups, by the way. I don't have any others besides those, so I'm glad we've just like gotten through it real fast. Just a really short list.
I don't know. We'll see how long the list gets as the conversation goes on. I think maybe it'd be good.
Have you ever heard of this argument called the drowning child argument? You know, imagine there was a child in a pond. That would be terrible. But you'd, of course, be required to ruin your shoes to pull them out of the pond. And then, but how is our situation different from pulling the child out of the pond?
It wouldn't it be terrible if a bunch of like thoughtful, smart people who are like weirdly compelled by moralizing philosophical arguments all just kind of like thoughtlessly and like in a knee-jerk fashion kind of like threw their money bad after good without like thinking really hard about it just because it like seemed like the kind of wholesome, earnest, virtuous thing to do? Wouldn't that be terrible when AI is on the line?
That seems terrible.
That's my counter argument, more or less.
Yeah. So that is hinting at our main kind of objections to the pledge.
Wait, I don't think I think I maybe didn't get what the objection was.
So I think Hannah's answer to the drowning child thought experiment is like, yes, there are drowning children out there, and there's things that our money can do to save them. However, what if we throw all our money away, saving the drowning children that we first notice, right? And then a very short time thereafter, find ourselves in a situation where there are far more drowning children, but we're all out of money. We've shot our wad. Like, what do we do then, right? And shouldn't we prepare for that situation? And shouldn't I come up with a better metaphor?
Yes, please. And more broadly, right? You know these arguments, you don't need me to make them, but things around like patient philanthropy, things around like trying to like get more money. Like there's always reasons. It's both the case that one can feel that there are always reasons to like not give away money. And like maybe you'll like be able to create more money that you could give away later in the future, or maybe you should be investing now in your like career capital so that you can do even more good, yada, yada. On the other hand, to like dismiss all of those arguments, I think is to kind of like basically contend that like harder thinking and for longer can't make better decisions, in which case, what are we all doing here?
Yeah, I think, I don't think that's unreasonable. It's like, what matters...
God, I'm
like,
good.
What I think you should do is you should like set 10% of your earnings and you put it in like a special fund and then plan to give that away at some point. Exactly when you give it away, that's up to you.
Absolution.
Now, I think there's a case where but if it mixes with the other money, then it's like it commingling with the other money, it loses its special status. It has to be sort of like set. It's like kosher meat. It's like
good.
I actually don't know if this is true of kosher meat, but it has to be set aside in a special way. You have to sort of execute it by cutting its neck in the right way. Otherwise it's not kosher, and you have not discharged your charity pledge, unfortunately.
This is segueing really nicely to a discussion of the mechanics of the pledge, right? So I think, Matthew, what you were just pointing to, this escrow, this like really designated fund for your giving money that you kind of tie yourself to the mast and can do nothing but give at such time when you like come up with the right giving option, is different than I think what Hannah and I are both doing, which is commingling. But there is like a mechanical way you can do this. It's called a donor advised fund. Once the money goes into the fund, you've like claimed a tax advantage that you can't unclaim without serious penalty. And then you have to allocate it towards something charitable, and presumably you'll be, wiser at the time that you do that. Is Giving What We Can cool with that? If I make my pledge and I just put money into the DAF every year, am I fulfilling my pledge? Like, what is your understanding of the mechanics of the pledge?
So I don't have the like Giving What We Can people's like personal phone number, but I imagine they'd be okay with it. And you can like register money that you're giving to other organizations because they don't list all the organizations you can give. So I think you could just say, look, 10% in the donor advised fund. I guess I should say that the reason I encourage people to take the pledge isn't because I think it's obvious that taking the pledge is better than like other conniving, 4D chess, invest everything and then donate really effectively later plans. It's mostly just because what most people do instead of taking the pledge is like not giving money to effective charities or planning on giving it to effective charities later. What most people do with their money is they just spend it or invest it for, non-effective charities. So it's like, in terms of the value above replacement of convincing people to take the pledge, it's very high, even if it's not totally optimal. I'm not as sure about the value of like spending the money immediately versus putting it in a donor advised fund, which I've just learned about, but it sounds cool. I guess so. The arguments
against donor advised funds, maybe, although maybe we're getting like so into the weeds, and Matthew, you should just like give us the kind of like first laydown, but just to like genuinely talk about some of the things that like come to mind for me when I think about whether I should donate in any given year. To be clear, which is like a huge amount, just like kind of like hangups and anxieties. But like a genuine thing that comes to mind is once you put something in a DAF, you have to give things to 501c3s, which means, for instance, you can't do political donations. And I actually think that I am in a position where I am like exposed to opportunities to do things like political donations or other weird kind of donations that many people aren't. And so my money is actually kind of like really valuable because it's like in my bank account and I can like do crazy weird things with it, like give my friends $2,000 to like take a flight somewhere to, I don't know, like there's always like these crazy EA schemes that happen around here. And the fact that I am like willing to do that kind of thing makes my money valuable in a different way than people who are giving in like normal, wholesome ways.
Yeah, so it might make sense to do like some of each, where maybe you could like have, it's like some of it you give immediately, some of it in a donor advised fund. I don't know. But I guess the case for giving now rather than waiting is, well, first of all, it looks like, So this will, I think, apply less to you guys because you're like, big EA people. But this just applies to most people, that there's lots of value drift. And so if you want to ensure that years down the line you're the type of person who donates, then the best thing to do is to donate some amount every year. So that's one point.
I've decided to do this by the most utilitarian person I know, but there are other ways to do it.
Yeah. Second, even if you think you are the kind of person who would give, who's like, you're not gonna value drift. You might still, it might still make sense to donate later because, you might convince other people, and if you think they would value drift, it's easier to convince people to take the pledge if you yourself have taken the pledge. It's for a similar reason to one of the advantages of going vegan rather than like only eating humane meat. Because first of all, you might mess up, and second of all, even if you don't mess up, your friends who you convince to do the same things, those guys all will mess up. Okay, those guys suck. You should just think of those people as like the least competent people on the planet. Any task with more than like 3 steps, you should not trust them to execute at all. The third point is just that it looks like it's getting easier to save lives. Or sorry, getting harder to save lives. It's like, I think it was like $3,000 a few years ago. Now it's like $5,000. So it's getting more expensive. And we should expect this to continue because
and you and I
presumably
like a deal.
Yeah. We should expect this to continue because EA funds are like increasing. So, they're taking the low hanging fruit. And then the last point is just that often the charitable donations, they have compounding returns. So it's like if you save someone's life, maybe they live extra years, they have extra children now. So, if you give money to the Shrimp Welfare Project, then you'll have the advantage of like things compound, they're reuse the stunners every year. So there's some degree of compounding returns, especially in AI, where it seems like now might be a critical period. So I think it could go either way. I don't think it's obvious whether you should give now or later, and I think it'll depend partly on details of one's circumstances and what their credences are and other things. I've been told by Phil Trammell that he wrote a 100-page report about this, which I have not read. But if you are deciding whether to do it, it might be worth reading the report. And he seems like a smart guy.
Yeah, it's a really good excuse not to give, I think, because then I'm still in the middle of Phil Trammell's 100-page report. So to really put it off even longer.
Great.
Yeah. Good date night idea, I think.
Hannah's romantic life, as we know from previous episodes, does subsist largely in reading a bunch of nerdy, dorky papers to her partner.
Specifically from Phil Trammell.
I mean, it's on the menu, I wouldn't doubt.
Yeah. I wrote a blog post without doing very much research about this, and then saying, it's like compounding returns are, they say they're the most powerful force in the universe. I don't quite know if that's true. But yeah, like I'd imagine like the busy beaver function or whatever is more powerful, but
How many people sent you Scott Alexander's post entitled "Compounding Interest: The Least Powerful Force in the Universe"?
I did read that one, but no one sent it to me. But Phil Trammell did mention that he had a long report about it, which I proceeded to not read.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and if I recall, that's the patient philanthropy idea / paper, right? And the idea is like, because of compounding returns, like a small minority of patient people can come to control some very large portion of like all of society's resources, given enough time to like let their patientness compound. Such that, like, I don't know, at that time when you have whatever some critical threshold of resources is, you can then like kind of reliably lock in and steer like the whole future or something like that, rather than taking the much more speculative bet that might get drowned out by like other forces in the near term.
That sounds plausible. As I say, I didn't read the report, so as for its contents, your guess is as good as mine.
The biggest risk, of course, though, is just like this notion of value drift, right? Because in order to do that, you need many generations to consistently kind of focus on the same thing they want to execute on many generations later, and just like so many opportunities for it to go off the rails. And so if you discount for that, maybe it stops holding, and that's what makes the paper a hard paper and not this not be an obvious strategy.
We often use the phrase value drift, but that like sort of implies that things like only go downhill, like one might in fact believe the opposite, that like one's older selves or even generations hence will have more information, will only have more information than you have now, and only be more thoughtful and wiser, one hopes. I don't frankly put a lot of stock in that, but
okay. So some other things that were that Matthew flagged for us. One is a great current pressing donation opportunity to get Matthew faster internet. I think that'd be extremely valuable. Lots of compounding returns there.
If we were streamers, we could get like super things. Like people could pay for it live. Like it could have happened.
Great. And then I think a sort of related concern is, what is the actual effect of taking the pledge? It seems like it is saying, I feel motivated to give this year or like sometime close to now. And then at some time in the future, I might start to change my mind about this. And the fact that I'd taken the pledge will kind of hold me back from changing my mind. But like, how strong is that effect? And given that there's no enforcement mechanism, aren't I likely to change my mind? So in fact, it's great that people give, but the pledge isn't doing that much work in all this. Is that just like, well, the sign is still positive, so don't bother?
I mean, I think of the people who take the pledge, I don't know the exact numbers, but I think a large portion of them just continue to take the pledge and follow through. I think by making it so that the default for the rest of your life is giving some money to effective charities, you have to change your mind. You have to like commit to changing things.
Wait, that's not true. You could just not.
Well, but so if you're pledging, I mean, I think you do it kind of automatic. Well, there are different ways of setting it up. The way I have it set up is that it's like monthly payments. So in order to change things, you'd have to like change the amount that you're paying monthly.
Yeah.
Now, that's a thing people can do. But by having the default be people giving away their money.
Sorry, I just realized? I think I have already given away 5% of my pre-tax income because of some random political donations. Maybe more. Like, I was doing the math. I was like, have I already given away 10% this year? I think like maybe.
What?
Sorry, I'm kind of listening, but obviously in the back of my brain, I'm just like, am I a good person? Am I a good person? Am I a good person? It's like actually what's running in the back. So I was doing some quick math. So I might go to heaven this year is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I might be reading the book of life. Next year is uncertain. Okay.
Right. I hope you don't go to heaven this year, because you have to die.
Yeah.
Right? But maybe this year you could like sort of lock in your status as going to heaven.
Right. Or it's sort of like in Hamlet, right? Like if somebody were to kill me right now, I would go to heaven, which is sort of like what I always want to be tracking, especially in the unsafe streets of Berkeley.
Right. It could be like a Calvinist thing where it's like whether what you do doesn't affect whether you go to heaven, but it like gives you like evidential decision theory style evidence about whether you're going to heaven.
Something that will shock no one in the audience is that I took an entire quarter course entirely based on what if we read the entire Institutes of the Christian Religion start to finish. It was great. There's a lot of worms. Humans are worms. We're all worms. It's all bad. The Calvinists do not have a sort of broadly positive view of humanity. Anyway.
Yeah. And when they say humans are worms, these aren't like Vasco Grillo types who are like, oh, you know, the worms in aggregate matter, 22 billion, trillion,
Real
whatever.
modus ponens, not modus tollens kind of moment.
Right.
Fantastic. So yeah, I think this, like, I don't know, we talked about DAFs earlier. They're a bit tangential. And those prevent you from making political donations, which we think are probably very important. They also prevent you from just giving money to your friends who are not incorporated as 501c3s. But you can still do that within the confines of the broader pledge, which seems good and fine. I guess
hear me out. This might be crazy. You could give more than 10% of your wildly above what you need to survive income. Well, not you, you're unemployed, but my income.
Fair enough. Yeah, that is a possibility. Though, I mean, again, another tangent, right? Some people say giving more than 10%, trying to one up the 10%ers, is kind of defecting on the Schelling point, right? Because
I think that's
so
silly.
You're making people. I mean, if you're public about it, I guess you can privately do it, of course. But if you're very public about giving 40%,
crab bucket bullshit is this? Give more.
Other people who might have taken the 10% pledge if they thought this was like their chance at like crossing some important status threshold might think, oh, this is just the first step in a longer game that I don't want to play. Right?
Status threshold is not a commitment to there being no status thresholds above you. Like, I now feel that because I'm in the inner ring, there shall be no other inner rings before me.
My guess would also be that it's like people would feel more motivated. Like when I think about the fact that there are just a bunch of EAs who like give everything they earn above $30,000, like I feel more motivated to give rather than less. So my guess would be it would increase total donations. If
I'm not sure how many of those people there actually are, but there have been people historically who on various years have done this.
Yeah, I think like I remember.
I think having kids really fucks with this, which is another interesting point about the pledge.
Sorry, you think what fucks with it?
Having kids.
Yeah, it gets harder if you have kids. But
like I went to private school my whole life. Like my parents believe in giving away money, but like I doubt they like would have like sacrificed me going to private school for it.
Yeah,
but public schools in Miami are not great, et cetera. I want to make another point. Yeah. So a feature of 80,000 hours is that it has a salary like formula, which has these like interesting pros and cons. One of the cons is that you can't negotiate for your salary, and you don't like. It means you can't like. Also, as someone who hires people, I can't like sort of offer them more money to come work for me. On the pros, you sort of always know what you're going to make, and everyone's salaries are public. Like within the organization. This is not where the show notes will not have a link to all the 80,000 hour salaries. But one of the things that is in there that I check I don't check from time to time. I don't check this at all. But when I go look because I'm adding someone to the list because of my hiring, so I do see who takes salary cuts. Like who does, what's it called? Forgoing salary as a method of donation. And I am like, fuck, that's cool, bro. That's good. And that's cool. So I think that's great. And probably, but I don't know what % those people are doing, but I guess a bunch of them are doing a bunch.
Yeah, I think beyond, it's like, I think it's generally a good thing to take the pledge. But it's like, the thing that I think is really important is that one commits over the course of their life to give lots of money to effective charities. And like, the more, the better. If a person's doing this, okay, there are more, technical discussions about like whether you should give now, whether you should give later. After all the anthropic people give like $1 trillion, and then the best charities to give to at that point will be like the charities that the EAs currently make fun of as like the really ineffective charities, where like now it'll be like the top charities will be what's the one, the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's like that's going to be the most bang for your buck.
Scott will rise to the highest echelons of EA status. Right.
Yeah, like the new, Peter Singer 2.0 will be like, imagine you came across a child who was really disappointed, and then to prevent them from being disappointed, you'd have to ruin your shoe. Clearly, you should prevent the child from being disappointed.
Okay, but actually, sorry, I want to dig into this, because I think the reason that Matt and I don't give every year is because we don't know where to give. I think that's actually, Matt, this is true for me. If I was like, I know where my money should go, I would just give it.
This is in the fullness of time.
So nice because they like
I expect
the time I have to agonize about it to like, you know, some fucking EA is like, we need it. It all needs to be Monday for reasons. Here's a spreadsheet, and I'm like, great.
I mean,
Monday.
so have you heard of malaria? It's this disease. Not very fun.
But Matthew, this is walking right back into the problem we started with, which is like, what if you spend all your money on AMF and then next year you realize there's something that's 10x better than AMF and you don't have any money left?
Also, sorry, if I thought malaria was the most important thing to give money to, I wouldn't be working 80,000 hours, right?
Well, I don't. So I mean,
maybe it's like I'm taking a hit. Like I applied to AMF and they like didn't want me, so here I am, like scrounging at the like bottom of the barrel of impact. But like, in fact, I'm not thinking about things that way.
Yeah, I guess so. I have an embarrassing confession, which is I split my money across a few different charities that I think are effective.
Whoa.
I give, which I think is likely not maximally effective, but I mean, I think there are lots of words that
certainly not, right? Unless you are personally changing the marginal value of your dollars.
Yeah, I think I'm, you know, I'm just deeply irrational, you know. Yeah,
sort of doubt.
It's like every night my dreams are haunted by Robin Hanson, you know, and like it's like 2012 lecture or something where he said that this was a bad thing to do.
Yep, that lives right in my brain too.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it might
we're
make
doing really well, all three of us. I think we're all just really mentally healthy. We all just sit at home and think about how Robin Hanson is currently judging us.
Yeah, but I think that so it's true that, you know, at some it may be that you find better opportunities, but there are some opportunities that are maybe like very good now, and then there will be less good opportunities in the future. So I think now might be kind of a golden age for long-termist organizations. I think if you're concerned about insect farming, the scourge of our time, then now seems like kind of a critical period for the hinge of insect history. So there might be a case, and then also the charities that you can give to now can have compounding effects. So, you know, yeah. But I don't. It's not crazy to give later. But I mean,
my personal guess as to what's going on is just that my uncertainty and ignorance about what is best is just greater than all those effects you listed, and that is something I can clear up.
But I guess the question is whether it is. The question is the degree of your uncertainty and ignorance this year relative to years in the future.
Yeah. And maybe I'm too optimistic. I think I can clear it up. Just give me 2 more years. I'll fucking figure it all out.
I mean, like, do you feel more optimistic about knowing where to give now than you did 4 years ago, say?
That's a great question.
I do.
I do
I'm much more keen to give to long-termist things, which was not the case 4 years ago. And then much more keen to give to really talented individuals who are like at a pivotal point where they're making decisions about like what they're going to commit their like precious mental plasticity to.
Yeah, I guess I'm not. Well, it doesn't seem obvious that outweighs some of the compounding returns effects. I mean, one thing that seems promising to give is just give to like giving what we can or some other organization promoting EA, and then that has more direct ripples over time. But yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't seem crazy to like save your money until you're really sure where to give, and then give money to where you think is best.
Yeah, and here I want to cover 2 things. I'm going to try to blend them. It's never a good idea, but I'll try. Now, one has to do with the salary reduction thing, which is that like if I want to do something really speculative, but it will be like costly or difficult to convince an institutional funder who might have other constraints to fund me or someone I know to go and do this thing, I can take a huge salary cut, but it's unclear if this would count as my donation because I can arbitrarily say I would have earned X, and then have an arbitrarily large like donation from the salary cut. So it seems like giving what we can really discourages this like you don't actually fork money over. Now, when you're at an organization with a formula, that's a rare situation in which you can very credibly say like, hey, the formula entitles me to this much. it's
Wait,
not
but
just like
this is
something
true
I could
anytime
have.
you're doing salary for going to the organization in question, because you're saying they didn't actually have a number that they had written down before.
Well, if you switch organizations, right? If you go, if you know, I was a lawyer, right? I was making $250,000, and then I go to 80K, I'm making like 80 grand, right? Do I get to say that like, oh, that's my donation? No,
Right.
I think I actually have to spend 8 grand a year.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of things like this, right? Like I used to think about. I mean, I think like some people, yeah, you can sacrifice all kinds of things that aren't money, right? You can sacrifice your mental health. You can sacrifice like your comfort and liking of your job. There's a million things to sacrifice, but like, yeah, we just don't think that any of those serve the purpose that a pledge does, which is like clear and unambiguous, even though it's obviously a real sacrifice to do a job you like less. But sorry, Matt, when you say you don't know where to give, is it because you like are deeply uncertain? Or I think for me, there's 25% deep uncertainty and 75% I haven't sat down and thought about it. Like I spent the amount of time I spent thinking about what job to do next after CEA, where I like did, I did the whole thing. I like had a Google Doc and I had a bunch of meetings and I wrote down pros and cons and I argued, I wrote down arguments for impact of different kinds and like use different frames, EV, highest upside, what could I be world class at? Like I applied all these different frames. I argued with people. I discussed it with people. And I just like haven't done any of that with regard to my donations. And it's not something I feel like I'm incapable of doing. I just like never get around to it.
But if you're predictably never going to get around to it. if it's predictable.
This is like both angels, but like done one shoulder, like different kinds.
The two Macs on your shoulder, you know.
Oh my God, that's so true.
Yeah, if you're
some biblical something or other, something probably.
You have the Old Testament and the New Testament. It's very good. Yeah, I think if you're predictably never getting around to it,
like everything means gift of God. It's not even interesting anymore. Every biblical name means gift of God somehow or another. Fine.
Right. Yeah, you should
tell me what to do.
You should either make the time or realize that you should just commit to your best guess. Or
what I fantasize I'll do, which is we've completely lost the other Matt, is like maybe the right thing to do. I don't know. I guess it depends how long it would take me. I should just fucking do it. But I'm like, I would much rather do this. Like I think no one would bat an eye if I was like, it's too stressful and hard to think about every year. So instead, every 2 years, I spend twice as much time thinking about it. Everyone would be like, great. And then we're just arguing about N,
Yeah, and actually, I think this is also another pledge mechanic thing. I think that's consistent with the pledge. They say it's 10% of your income over your life, so you don't actually have to donate each year. I mean, it's a good like self-discipline kind of mechanism.
So I think nobody would bat an eye at 2 or even 3, maybe even 5. But once we start getting to 10, like people are like, okay, but you're gonna fucking do it. Like, what's the deal here?
And it's also.
It's like no one else is like peeking at your 80,000 hours dashboard to like see if you're like on track.
To work 80,000 hours to do what?
Sorry, I meant the giving what we can. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right. No. I mean, yeah, no. Nothing around this really matters to me in terms of like what giving what we can things. But I'm just like, what am I?
Also, the inputs aren't going to be linear either. You said like, oh, I'll spend twice as much time every 2 years, but you probably only need to spend like 1.2 as much time every 2 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Because you can make just as good as a decision. Really, I think, and an organization actually exists now with 2 people that we know, and I think you know about the Chana, who advise you on smart ways to donate money. And so far, it's been like political campaigns. Well, it's at least one person, and then another person helps a lot. But the second person has many jobs.
That's why I never have a lunch at Constellation that's free of busking of some kind or another.
And you love it, and it's great, and it's helped you fulfill your pledge this year without even realizing it.
That's right.
So that's definitely one way to do it.
Okay, hear me out. Okay, wait, no. I feel like I want to get to the more embarrassing but true thing. The scintillating but ultimately true thought.
Chana hates the good.
That's right.
The embarrassing but true thought.
God, Lord help me. I feel an urge to genuflect before I say this, which is a wild urge for me to have. I am scared to think about it and want someone else to think about it for me. And I want to outsource it to somebody else. And I kind of maybe just want to pick a giving what we can pledger who I trust and be like, can I give you 10% of my income every year? I mean, this is what donor lotteries basically do, right? It's like you spend more time, which like makes up for like there's like lots of arguments for this. I think this is actually like, yeah, should I just do this instead of fucking around and pretending I'm going to get around to it? Or is that dumb and bad and anti-intellectual? And like, it does seem, there does seem like some value, frankly. And maybe this is all very innumerate, but I think EA Church guy over here would appreciate this. There's something good about everybody thinking about it every year. Like actually thinking, like, what is the current landscape? What is the current state of the good? Where does the good need my help the most? Like, that's what genuinely seems like it like plugs you in. It like causes you to think about it. And it also causes you to think like, yeah, you know, tractable, neglected, important, blah, blah, but like actually think, okay, so what? So what?
Yeah, and
like
look,
a goddamn spreadsheet. Like, for real though.
Well, look, I think you can just combine these pretty straightforwardly, right? It's like
podcast.
No, it's good. That's what we want. You do this in community, right?
Yeah.
When you make a big decision, you seek advice. You already know the people who are going to give you good advice. Make a fucking ceremony out of it, right? Come together, and we know exactly who's going to tell us what to do, and that we can trust their reasons and even interrogate their reasons and get it good. And Matthew's up there.
That's right. It's funny. A very common thing to do around here is like there's like tax parties where people around like February, whatever. Where it's like, okay, in community. I mean, we actually are donating all to the same extremely effective institution, the United States government. But like whatever, you just like get together because it's like kind of annoying and you want help doing it. And so like maybe there's something similar one could do.
That seems good. Let's do it. Let's have a donation ceremony. Hosted by you-know-who. I don't know if they want to be mentioned.
Yeah, I also don't know if they want to be mentioned.
Voldemort.
Well, I feel like this should be your first move as self-appointed EA deacon.
Yeah, for sure.
You should
Matthew, by the way, context. I want to be an EA priest type person. I'm self-appointing myself.
I see. Okay.
He, like everyone else, but maybe more than everyone else, wants to be told what to do, and there's no God, so he's hoping the good will tell him what to do. And then
it isn't true that there's no God, but
Well,
remember who you're talking to, Anna. Amazing. All right. Well, I'm so excited about that.
Being an atheist in this space. Look at me speaking my truth.
We're gonna make it happen, and like our real actual pledge might be a product of the first meeting doing that. Both you and me, Hannah, we're going to do it in the Bay very soon.
Because I do feel like this is what I do when I think about my jobs, is I'm like, oh, fuck. All these like prints, like it feels like, and I feel like I can say neglected, tractable, important in the same way. I can like say the prayers I grew up with, but like, so what? and I feel like there's something really valuable in doing this for my job when I think about like genuinely, okay, what do I think I could do? And like, what value do I think it would have in the world? And what do I do with it? And then I just like, don't do this with money. And as I admitted on the podcast, like several episodes ago, one of the things I like about long-termist work is that there's this huge fudge factor where nobody knows anything. And so it's like much less clear whether I'm making terrible decisions. Like maybe I just like see the 4D chest that no one else sees. And it feels like the money kind of commits me to like a view.
Yeah. It sure does.
Like with a career, thank God, in terms of optimizing for not being able to be blamed for things, which as everyone knows is the same as morality. With a career, I can only pick one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who seems to be able to do 5, but I can't do that, so I pick one. Whereas like with money,
because he's this person split their soul into 5 different containers.
Yes, exactly.
There might be some time spinner action going on. It's entirely possible.
Truly. Does not seem reasonable otherwise. Whereas like with money, I guess I wouldn't also give money to one organization, but somehow it feels like there are more options. Like, yeah, maybe that's what it is. There's more options, right? There's only so many places that want to give me a job, but everybody wants my money.
Okay, so here are 2 things that I think you should do if there are too many options. So one is there's a question of whether you're going to give like to one place or multiple places. If you're going to give to multiple places, so it probably makes, I guess, so I don't know if your psychological state is similar to mine, but I guess the way I describe it's like I sort of think that the long-termist stuff is higher impact. But I find it very hard to like just give all my money to like lower existential risks by 1 in 2 billion or whatever, even if I think that's higher impact. So what I do is I give some of it to long-termist charities and some to short-termist stuff. Okay, and then if you're giving to short-term stuff, there's a question of what you think is most effective.
Wait, hold on. This is a crazy thing to admit to.
I'm sorry.
What are you doing? What are you doing over there? What is this bullshit? Sorry. I say as someone who doesn't give money at all, so obviously I cannot to like.
No, I know it's not. I don't think it's optimal. I think.
I guess it says give your money to affected charities. It doesn't say give your money in the way that you think is optimal.
It's like there are all sorts of ways in which I'm suboptimal. I could,
But this one is a one choice a year. If there was any choice. Sorry, did you come onto this podcast to be yelled at? I don't know if that came.
No, I
can still talk. You'll be fine. I'm like, this is. I mean, so right. So like, this is why. Whatever. There's a million arguments about like how intensely utilitarian should we be? Maximization is perilous. Blah 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 blah. But like one of the best sort of easiest places that we should do this is with money, because it's actually numbers and it actually funges against everything else, and you only have to make the decision so many times instead of do I do my best self every day and do I get the most sleep every day so I can be the most whatever at work? That's all hard and takes forever. Money is once a year and you still don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I don't think it's optimal. Now, I think maybe in my case, there's a better case for it being optimal, because if you blog, then it's kind of it's like if you're sort of more of a public figure, then donating, it's more like a signal. It's like, I mean, a lot of it is just a direct good done by the money, but a lot of it is just as a signal. I can describe organizations helping insects and say, oh, this organization's so good, you should give your money to it. I give some of my money to it. So maybe I have an excuse because I
feeling value is so diminished by you not really believing it or something. I don't know. This is this thing EAs always do. Is this bullshit? Are they even telling us the truth? What do they actually think? I don't know. I'm obviously a weird kind of person, but one of my favorite things that makes me cry half the times I think about it is the degree to which the long-termists I know and the people most working on AI safety are just really disproportionately really into animals. And their belief is that helping animals, they both believe you can save a life for $5,000. And they think animal stuff is probably even more important than that. And they still think money should go to long-term stuff. That's how much they believe it. Because you can save a life for $5,000 fucking dollars. And because billions of animals are being slaughtered unfairly each year, and they still imagine how much they must care and believe in the future of humanity. And to me, that is the beating heart and soul of the AI safety and long-termist worldview.
I think
it's withholding money and time from something that grabs you morally every day. Sorry, I don't need to quote Unsong to you people, but there's this the best part of Unsong by far is when the Comet King says to his advisor, I hear their screams. Sorry, spoilers for Unsong. And he says, what do you mean? He says, I hear the screams of the people in hell every day. He says, oh, I didn't know that. I'm so sorry. And he says, I lied. I don't. I just have the power not to have to. And that's it. That's the whole ball game.
So I think, I think it depends on, so part of, so I think in my case, there's a stronger case for splitting my donations. But I mean, I take the point. Maybe I think if I were more optimal, then I would, I'd probably give a bit more to the long-termist charities. Now,
the whole point of the pledge is to stop people from feeling like they have to be optimal so that they'll agonize and never do it, like me and Matt, right? The whole point is 10% is enough. Obviously the arguments don't stop at 10%. They stop when you're almost dead on the street or whatever. But we say 10%. So obviously there's a whole point here of not letting the perfect be the enemy of the good. Although as my friend Logan would say, don't be the perfect, be the enemy of the good, be the enemy of the perfect. But yeah, Yeah, and also I do think there's actually like lots of like thoughtful reasons to like split your donations, including like cooperativeness and I guess moral
Yeah,
uncertainty can get you there,
yeah.
I don't think I don't really buy most of those, but um,
you
uh,
buy the signaling ones. That's interesting.
well, I don't know if I buy it for most. I think it'll depend partly on like who you are. You know, if you're, it's like if you're like I mean, I'm not like a huge public figure, okay, but you know, I've
Some of
something
us are
of influence.
like Chihuahua or something.
Yeah, and it would feel kind of hypocritical to like, you know, spend my time writing about the shrimp welfare project and then just never spend any of my money sparing the thousands, you know, to wax poetic about, you know, thousands of shrimp being savable from excruciating death per dollar and then never give them any of my dollars, even if
Well, I'll tell you this: I'm a weirdo, but I think the idea of you waxing poetic about the billions of shrimp and insects who need your dollar and not giving it because you think there's yet a better thing to do with your dollar is more moving to me than I can say.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Hannah's a weirdo. That seems like the natural conclusion. Yeah, Matthew, I'm totally on your side. I think you're doing it right. Um, uh,
I really thought I had you there.
it's like I think a great intellectual like skill is recognizing, you're really going to quibble with this word, but like reasonable disagreement. Like people who have like a pretty solid understanding of the world, who can recognize something that is very important, even if not the most important, and saying like, I see your reasoning well about the world. I can articulate your reasons well if I'm a communicator like Matthew, right? And in fact, like I can be credible too, because like I think that's important enough to be worth some of my dollars. Intuitively, this is how most people think about the world. Just like the vast majority of people are not optimizers. They think of something reasonable, they do something reasonable, and I think we should be able to credibly signal to them that like you're on the right track, you're doing something good, we support you, we wish you well. And that can have returns for the things that we care about and hedge against us being wrong.
Okay, here's my take on the new pledge the Chana pledge. The Chana pledge says 8% of your income. Is it pre-tax or post-tax, by the way? Out of curiosity.
It's supposed to be post, but yeah.
Oh, pish posh. Anyway, no, sorry. 7.5% of your income goes to the optimal place, and then 7.5% to something good, effective.
Yep.
And then
I'm into it.
5% to non-effective but good things. Yeah. And then the rest of it to do what you like with, which adds up to 20%. That's my pledge. That's the pledge I think people should take.
Yeah, I will say I think there are pretty clear thing. It's like it's not. I think it's pretty clear that the long-termist stuff has higher expected value than the other stuff, just because the arguments for long-termism I think are right. So if you're a robot like Chana, you know, then you should give your money to long-termist stuff. Or if you've read enough Unsung, yeah,
one of those EA robots.
Yeah, and then if you're like not. If you're like a sort of guilty long-termist where it's like you think long-termism's right, but you know, man, you just can't.
What's that about it?
Yeah. I will say the one thing that's funny is I find myself
so relevant to so much of my EA journey that I was a rationalist first. It just like it infuses everything. Like I wasn't into animals first, and I was into global poverty in a broader sense. Like I was always brought up with like.
When you say you were into global poverty, were you like in favor of it or against it?
Right, exactly. It's like a race for breast cancer, right? People don't always disambiguate. No, I mean, I was raised thinking that the only thing to do with money is to give it away responsibly. But and you know, my grandmother was in like global development, but on a deep level, I was a rationalist first. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So then I think like the farm charities probably get outcompeted by like organizations helping invertebrates. So if you care about like immediate near-term stuff, helping lots of animals, helping invertebrates, good. And then also I think if you buy this, then if you buy the basic argument that most insects live bad lives, it comes out that probably money given to GiveWell top charities is among the most effective places you can give your money. So Brian Tomasic did this estimate where of how many insect life years you prevent from coming into existence per dollar if you give to GiveWell, if you give to the Against Malaria Foundation, and he guessed about 14,000 life years. per dollar. And the reason is because humans have just like unbelievably large impacts on insects. Um, when you take into account the fact that we've reduced insect populations by 10% is a conservative number, and then there are like 10 to the power of 18 of them. So we've affected like around 10 to the power of 17 insects, which is just like way more than all the factory farming will ever do.
So like the poor meat eater problem has like a poor insect killer solution.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It's more about transforming habitats. But yeah, that I think. I think the meat eater problem is just clearly outweighed by impacts on wild animals. Now things get even better if you give to like organizations that raise money for EA charities, because those return several dollars. So it's like per dollar you give to like giving. I think it's to the Giving What We Can people. I think that it's like that returns like $6 around that. And there have been two analyses that found that. So then it's like 6 times 14,000, which is like 84,000, I think, life years per dollar. Insects live like a few weeks, so then this is like 100 times, or like 20, 5 times that ish. So it's just like many insect deaths prevented per dollar.
Yeah.
And then also I think that one of the better things for this also has spillover effects on helping people if you care about those. And also on long-termist stuff, where just I think a larger EA movement is good for long-termist purposes. So this is, I think,
imagine an alternate universe where the three of us are mosquitoes having this podcast, and we're like, obviously, insect welfare, very important, like really easy to give away your extra money. But people, I guess, also, if you care about those, there's like kind of weird arguments for vertebrate welfare.
Yeah. So I guess I think that's a good place to give. And then to the charities that are like helping insects, like the Insect Institute or like the Arthropoda Foundation, Bob Fisher's group, like that might just help out staggering numbers of insects at small cost, and that maybe has more ripple effects. And then Insect Welfare or Shrimp Welfare Project is quite good. So I guess these are I think the short term ones.
I mean, this is another big problem with the thing, right? Which is just like everyone is confused at whether one can turn money into impact. Like I guess places that don't want to give that don't want to take co-give or lab money are really good places to give, because they are just like cutting themselves off from the biggest sources of donations. But like co-give does not seem to think it can like turn as much money as it has into impact. Like I don't think they're just sitting on their money because they're like doing clever arguments about investing in the future. They just like actually would love to give hundreds of millions of dollars or more away a year and like can't figure out how to do it. And so like I think
give it to me.
Right. So I'm saying exactly. So right. So you might think, what you should do is either find places that won't take co-give money, or won't take lab money, or both, or find things that like because of your sort of local metis viewpoint on the world, like see things that like a big organization can't give. For instance, giving money to Matthew to fix his internet. And so I think that also gets confusing. This is dumb though, right? Because Miri and Palisade are both running fundraisers right now. So I was going to say something like, if I knew like a long-term organization I liked, like needed more money, maybe this wouldn't be so hard. Like maybe it's just hard because they seem to not know what to do with money. But that doesn't seem right either.
I'm kind of anti-Miri, I think. But I don't really know about Palisade.
Sure. If you don't like them, then the problem reasserts itself. But I was just noticing that I wanted to say.
Is it fair to say that Palisade is Miri Light?
Is it fair to say that Palisade is Miri Light?
She's not saying no.
I'm trying to hear me out. Take the question seriously. So I know we don't do a lot on this podcast. I don't actually know what Palisades. I feel like Miri is characterized by a few things, right? One is their high P doom, but another is their like particular worldview on like the nature of intelligence, sharp left turns, which they don't think are cruxy for doom, but nonetheless think are much more plausible than almost anybody else. And like sort of special sauce orientation to intelligence, things like the evolution argument being like holding.
They're notable for thinking lots of false things.
So says our guest. Point being, like, I think their worldview is like really distinctive, and I have no idea if Palisades holds that worldview. And I think, like, if what you're thinking is they have high P doom, they seem interested in like freaking people out about this stuff and doing a lot of comms, then in that sense they're doing very similar things. But I do think the mirror worldview is like pretty specific. Although I wouldn't be surprised if the Palisade crew, either institutionally or so happens to be each individual person, held it as well. I had a great time at their holiday party where somebody I won't name like started going on a very slightly drunken rant about, as people do at holiday parties, I think, like sort of political rants, except it was like the basic case for X risk, which was like in that context, like just extremely charming. They were like, these AIs, like we just do not know like how to give them goals reliably or how to control them. I'm like, I think none of us would be invited if we didn't already agree. But it was a good vibe anyway. Good for the holidays.
Yeah. Oh, one other group, and this is a big conflict of interest because there's some chance I'll be working for them. But I think Forethought, they're good. And they're doing a hiring round. Forethought, for those who don't know, they are doing. Sorry.
Do they need money?
Yeah. I mean, I think they don't like need it, but they will have stuff to do with it.
They would like it.
Like maybe hire me. That would be the best thing for them to do with the money.
Do you want to explain what Forethought is? I also have a conflict of interest with them, but go ahead.
Yeah, maybe Matt should explain it because he's the only one so Forethought, they're like doing planning for a post AGI world. So broadly, they're about trying to think through how to make AI go well, aside from aligning it. The case they make there is basically that it, by default, even if we get alignment and we're not doomed and there isn't like extreme power concentration, it's pretty unlikely that the world would be optimal, because an optimal world is a very specific target. So by default, even good worlds end up missing out on most expected future value. And like no one's working on it. Okay, so it seems good for some people to be thinking about how such a world can flourish. So
it might not even be. We might just end up with an aligned AI and somehow still not a net positive world, depending on like what you think about like animals and AI welfare and things like that. That would be pretty depressing.
And even if we get a net positive world, I mean, it's unlikely we'll get. By default, we don't get an optimal world.
For sure.
Like if you have the right view about population ethics, you should think it's good to create happy people. Okay, and what is the story by which by default we just like spend our massive space resources creating a bunch of happy minds or doing whatever is better if we think of something better? Like that, it doesn't seem like we get that by default. Maybe we get that through like consulting the AIs and the AIs being really good at moral philosophy and they say, oh, this is what you should do. But it seems like big risks, and so it seems worth some people doing things on it. So I think Forethought's another place to give money that's very high impact, but massive conflict of interest. Don't believe me. Yeah.
And if we have enough money to pay for that ad spot, we'll run it in the podcast, so they can.
That's where the donation dollars will go. Evidentially, counterfactually, something. It's like we trusted that you were going to give us the money, and that's why we published this.
Once this podcast came out, we have to email them. You wouldn't paid for this kind of advertising, so the decision here is very clear.
I guess I think Forethought it's like I like simple arguments. I'm a kind of simple guy. I like arguments that are simple. Like I can't get my head around these complicated arguments about sharp left turns or whatever. I like simpler arguments like, oh, you can save a lot of shrimp by giving $1. That I can understand. It's there aren't many steps. It's like many shrimp for $1. That's great.
Simple arguments like giving to giving what we can makes many dollars per give well, which kills orders of magnitude more insects than many other things that we know of, which is actually good because the insect lives are negative.
More precisely, it prevents them from coming into existence. Most of it is by like changing habitats and ways. Yeah, but that's the basic idea.
Of course. It was a very compelling presentation. Matthew, do you have some closing remarks now that we've gone on for some length about why people should pledge that are perhaps more compelling than what I just laid out?
Well, I guess I don't know that it's that important to. It's like whether you take the pledge or you like invest and then give the money later. I don't know that there's that strong of a case for pledging instead of giving money later. But I think both are good. And
don't you feel the the spirit of the season, listeners. Both are good. Hanukkah, Christmas, we're here.
But but I think what matters is that you have an opportunity to make the world way better with your money. You have the opportunity per dollar to prevent, like, I don't think this is anywhere near the best thing you can do with your dollar. Okay, but this is just to illustrate. It's like per dollar you can prevent animals from spending about 10 years in a cage. If you give to like chicken charities. For a few $1,000s, you can prevent a person from dying of malaria. You can. It's like if you trust sort of rough back of the envelope calculations from the paper that McCaskill and Greaves had, like the case for strong long-termism. It's like per dollar, like given to long-termist charities, in expectation, roughly 10 billion future beings come into existence. I think there are reasons to think that's an underestimate, maybe by like 20 orders of magnitude, but maybe way more than that. Okay, but in any case, yeah, you can make the world way better. Exactly how there are more subtle questions. Maybe read Phil Trammell's report or something, and it's worth thinking through these considerations. But I think like the important thing is you should use your money to do good. Okay, and then exactly how to do that and when you donate. Okay, those are more subtle questions, but yeah. So that's what I would recommend doing. Yeah, thanks for having me on your podcast. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for coming, Matthew, and alerting us that there are even better things than reducing mosquito populations by 10 to the 17. We love to hear it. And love to have you, and perhaps I'll have you back again soon. Thank you for everything that you do.
That was great. I had a great time.
Yeah, no, it was good. The internet felt like it got better later on.
Yeah. Which is important. And interrupt-based communication style.
Yes. Maybe I should screen guest for this in the future, and like not wrangle them the night before. Which this is fascinating behind the scenes of this particular episode. I wanted to do this episode at Lighthaven, where we've been recording episodes lately in person with some people in the Bay. Lots of EA rationalist types around here. I asked like 5 or 6 different people.
None of them have taken the pledge.
No, who've taken the pledge.
Oh. Okay.
And they're like, oh, I like you. I like Chana. I like the show. I'm happy to come on the show. This pledge stuff, I don't know. Multiple people regret the pledge. One person, at least one person revoked their pledge. Yeah, wild times in Bay Area Rat EA land.
That is so interesting. Wait, we should absolutely have one of those people on next, so they can talk about why they don't think the pledge is good.
It didn't seem like their favorite topic to broach, but I'll poke around.
We could run a panel. 5 to 6 people who wouldn't come on.
Yeah, and it was like a substantial majority of the people I asked.
That is so interesting. Oh, there's so much to dig into here.
I can only speculate.
I so desperately want. What'd you say?
I can only speculate as to like what's going on there, but a number of things I imagine.
Speculate. What do you think is going on?
So I think one thing is just like there's a sense. I think no one admitted to this, but I'm speculating. During the FTX boom times, everyone was like, EA is ascendant. I want to get myself on this list of pledgers saying I'm on the team. We're doing this. And then the collapse. And now like, wow, I tied myself to the wrong mast. And again, this is me speculating. It's not what they're saying, but they're feeling like, wow, I should really reconceptualize my relationship to like things that I identify with, things that I commit to, all this. Yeah.
Keep your identity small and your donations smaller. Yeah. Wow. That's very intense. Here's my feeling, or like a feeling that I want to give voice to that doesn't feel very good. But I do feel like the pledge is just deeply associated, I think, at least in my mind, with global health and global development in particular as a donation opportunity. And I think it's like harder to think of myself as a pledger or something in the same way if I don't intend to give to that kind of thing. Even though Dario Amade is like pledge number 6 or something, and I think that's like extremely based, and it like makes me think better of him. And it's like very cool to like be playing some like indie puzzle video game and then notice that inevitably the person who made the game is like also on the giving what we can list. Do you know about this? Do you know about this, like the ridiculous proportion? So Jonathan Blow, who made Braid and most famously Witness, these like incredibly elaborate, brilliant puzzle video games, is a giving what we can guy. Baba Is You, another extremely popular game. One of our friends like proposed to the other via a Baba Is You level. The beginning of it says like 10% of the proceeds from this game go to giving what we can. And I believe the guy who made Inscription, which is like a horror puzzle, like sort of card deck building game, also either on the list or gives his money away or something. There's something going on in the indie video game puzzle maker land. Although Jonathan Blow is really, really unhappy with the switch to focus on AI.
Braid, Baba Is You. Hannah, I think there's going to be a listener who knows what those things are and really resonates.
Almost all sorry, that's too strong. A huge proportion of the listeners are going to know what those things are. Oh my God, I'm a gamer girl compared to you. You have no idea what I'm talking about.
Listeners, you can write us at mattandhannah@gmail.com and let us know if you know about any of the things that Hannah just mentioned.
Can we put a poll out? How do we put a poll out? Listeners.
Oh, I can just make a Twitter poll and then link to it in the description. So go down to the description and see, though, there will be a Twitter poll about whether you know these things that Hannah just listed. I will listen back to know what they are and put them in the poll.
Anyway, point being, I guess I would have guessed that was like a lot of what was going on. And then also, my guess is some people don't want to have pledged to it because they think they should like preserve capital because, I don't know, in the AI revolution, you're going to need as much compute as you can or you'll be nowhere in the astronomical futures or, some crazy shit. But like, I don't know, that keeps me up at night a little.
Presumably you can donate compute to your allies. It's a little bit farcical.
Something we didn't talk about, but I think is relevant, is like, how much do you trust that the like EA community or AI safety space or whatever is like a team that's like on a ship all together versus not? Like if I do donate so much that I like don't have any, I didn't buy any tickets to the ship of cosmic value. Like, is somebody going to give me one?
These Epoch guys, they seem so trustworthy. I gave them all my compute.
Indeed. A post FTX take one could definitely have is like, trust who you trust, but don't trust by default.
Right on, Hannah. That's why I'm giving all my compute to you.
Yeah, let's go.
Nice. Well, yeah, we can explore all those nooks and crannies and seedy underbellies of people's minds and psychology later. You know me, I just like a big tent. I'm very tempted to jump in on the big tent. I don't know how much this episode moved me. Matthew was more equivocal than I expected, I guess.
Yeah.
But that was I think intellectually charitable and generous of him.
I think we probably should both be putting our money at least like in a money market, but like under a different label called To Give Away One Day. I think that does sound like the minimum that we should be doing that we haven't done.
Yep. Let's make it happen. Log out of Fidelity, folks.
I can do it.
And Merry Christmas. Thank you for listening.
Christmas.
All of 2025.
It's the last night.
We're recording on the last night of Hanukkah. My plan is to release this on Christmas when hopefully no one else is releasing things, so you have to listen to us.
That'd be so cute. Good timing.
I was going to get us hats, but I couldn't find hats in time. Terrible. I'll edit the Santa hats in. It'd be great.
Can we get Santa hats that say, shrimp love me, unaligned AIs fear me?
In the spirit of the season, Hannah, just for you, sure. Why not?
Merry Christmas, Matt.
All right, Merry Christmas, Hannah. Bye-bye.